So, well, I'll start so you don't have to. So, I guess, like the biggest question is, or the first question is, what was it about UW-Eau Claire? Like, why UW-Eau Claire?
Yeah, I mean, a big part, because like I feel like with my, not even necessarily like recruiting process, but just like looking for the next step after high school process was just like not knowing where I wanted to end up or what I was gonna like, if I was gonna play, like where I was gonna play, stuff like that. I just always knew I wanted to teach. So a big thing with Eau Claire is the program here for education is amazing. And I know like the first time I kind of met with you, you set me up right away with like the head of the department. Like I was introduced to her and to like all of the changes that were happening in the program, like when I would have been a freshman. Um, and so just like right from there, I just felt very comfortable forwarding my education here. And then just everything kind of fell into place, like coaching staff for softball, knowing that I could play a sport here and also like fulfill my professional goals type thing. So having that aspect was huge, and it was something that I just felt so much more comfortable here compared to like other places I went on tours with or like talked to other like coaches or departments at different places, like even just like tours of other schools that I went on, like just having that like comfortability here right away.
What do you think it was that, like, what were two or three of the key things that were more comfortable here than anywhere else you looked?
I think it was a good distance from home for me. I felt comfortable being not too close, but not too far because I'm 4 hours away. So I felt good with that. I knew people that were coming to school here, so that helped as well. But I think just having that like reassurance throughout like the whole process from you, from people in like the education department, that like I would have that support like constantly really, really helped and made me feel like there was never a lack of like communication going both ways. Like I could always ask questions. Like um, people were asking me questions as well and like getting to know me and like about what my goals were. So I felt like that kind of helped me feel more comfortable in like making a decision to come here. Because and then like my parents too, like my mom loved it here. Like she thought it was a great place, like the city when we came and toured a few times. Like it's just such like a calming place to be. I don't know. I guess that, I mean, that's an opinion, but I think that really helped
The stairs
overall.
hardly calm you,
Oh,
right?
I just came up them. Not good.
So, so really, just like, because obviously you're a very academic driven student athlete and and do very well in the classroom. So that I can see that track to, you know, the next step for you professionally, as far as really being assured that you were in the right place to get the right degree to help you with your goals. So that being a big factor. So did it ever come to mind in the process of selecting a school that it's D3, or was it not even really a thing? Like, was there ever a time that you were like, it's D3 and that's what I want, it's D3 and I had maybe D2 or D1 aspirations and it's not that, or was it ever a thing?
Not necessarily. I know like my junior and senior year of high school, like that's like right when like COVID hit and stuff like that. So my big like dilemma that I was having was mainly if I wanted to play or not. Like that's what I kind of struggled with a lot, and like communicating with my parents and like trying to get through to like myself to be like, okay, it's like a yes or no. Like, do you want to play or do you not? Because then deciding from there, like if it's a yes, then okay, then you look at what kind of programs I'd be like interested in, like division wise. But I don't think it was ever something where I was like, oh, it's D3, maybe I'd rather look somewhere else. Because for me, it was always about, would I like it if I wasn't playing? And that was something that I really felt strongly about here, was that I would be happy and I would enjoy myself here even if I wasn't playing. So it never like occurred to me to be like, oh, like this is D3, maybe I should be looking somewhere else for a higher division or like anything like that. And also after kind of, I mean, this is kind of hindsight, but like being here now, like knowing how competitive our conference is and how competitive like our team just is in general and like the drive behind that, I think it wouldn't have really mattered to me what division it was, because it was just like that mindset of knowing that the teams I'm playing against are competitive and the team I'm playing for is just as competitive. So I think that was more what mattered to me, not like the division that I was in.
Yeah. So kind of a follow-up, what do you think, what's special about it being Division III? Like when you think like, I mean, you haven't experienced Division II or Division I or any of those things, but I'm sure you've heard stories, you have friends that have played at those different levels. So what's special about, I mean, division didn't really matter to you. It was more about fit overall. But what do you think now, having been in this, in a Division III program for almost 3 years? I mean, what's special about that to you compared to what you maybe think the other divisions are like?
I mean, I guess it would just kind of be like from my own opinions or thoughts about other divisions, because like you said, I haven't like personally experienced that. But I think just like the connection to like the school and not just like the sport program. Like I feel very like connected in like this community with like people outside the sport. Like I have a great group of friends like outside of softball and like a great support system in that sense, where I have that like flexibility and freedom as well for it being Division III. Not that it's not just as intense, not that it's not just as like hardworking and driven, but it's just that mindset of knowing that in my situation, my education does come first, but that doesn't put like a hindrance on how competitive I'm able to be here and like how hardworking everyone around me is. Like it was never like, oh, this is D3, like we can slack off. Like that's never been something that I've faced or even like heard in other people's situations. Cause like I have friends, like you said, that are in other YX schools even, or like and other D3 teams where it's never something that's like, oh, like you're not working as hard. Like I would never say that somebody at a different school or at like a different division isn't working as hard just because of like the label that their school has. So I think having that mindset and that freedom of like, yes, it's D3, but like that just almost changes like the scheduling aspect or like what teams you're facing just because they're in a different division than you. Like it has nothing to do with the competitiveness or anything like that. So I think that's been really interesting to kind of experience, to be able to like, because in my, like I'm just a college athlete. Like it's not, oh, I'm a Division III college athlete. Like yes, that's true, but in the end, like I'm just a college athlete. Like that's what I'm here for. That's what I love to do. And
yep, I love that. I love that. I'm just a college athlete. So what do you think you've had the opportunity to do other than just play softball that maybe some of your friends that play at different divisions, or your perception of what have you had the opportunity to do in addition to softball that maybe some of them haven't?
I think like I've been able to not necessarily like compartmentalize, but like differentiate between different aspects of my life where like I can have time to spend time with friends. I have time to see family, to do like things within like the school that aren't just softball related, like volunteering with certain things or going to other sporting events, or like this year like going to like homecoming and stuff. Like that was really exciting to be able to do that, even though it was with the team, like still having that experience off of the field and like out of practice, where I don't know necessarily if other people are experiencing that. Like obviously I can't speak for anyone other than myself, but just having that ability to be flexible in my own schedule and like understand when certain things can like take place and like not always be locked in on one aspect of my life, like being able to kind of bring all of that together.
Are you involved, or have you been involved in any kind of clubs or anything like that?
I have not personally. I definitely, it's not like a time thing or like a lack of interest type thing. It's just I never have joined one, I guess. But I definitely think it's doable, and I know there's people like on the team and like on other teams that are part of so many different things, which I think that's a really cool aspect too, to be able to see like someone like as like our like president, and like then having them on like a sports team. Like it's just so cool to be able to see that like differentiation and like how many different aspects they bring to it then. And like I almost feel comfortable not necessarily being in a club then, because I know that there's people out there that are like doing all of it and like looking out for every person and every type of situation at this school. And I just think that's really cool.
So you're talking about like our student body president
Yeah.
is a swimmer,
Yep.
right? Yeah, yeah.
That's been really cool. And to just like hear about what people are doing in clubs and like events and stuff where like you don't necessarily need to join the club, but like they have events that they're hosting, or like a lot of times groups are outside of Davies and you can like learn more, like volunteer, or, like donate. And I just think that's a cool way to like be involved without necessarily having to be a part of it.
Sure.
So I think that's kind of like a cool aspect of kind of having those opportunities be open to you.
When you think about, so you're a junior, so you have a little time left, but it's going fast.
Too fast.
What kind of impact do you want to leave on the program?
That's a big one. I want to inspire people. I want people to, like, one big thing I remember, I think I've talked to you about this freshman year, was it like reminded me how much I love to play. Like coming here, having a whole, because I love travel ball, I loved high school, like totally different, but like by the time I got here, it was kind of that sense of, should I keep playing? Do I want to keep playing? And I made that decision, obviously, to continue playing, and I have never regretted it once in my life. And I just remember like having that like one day at practice and like realizing like this is why I love to be here, and like it has like re-inspired me to play the game and to play all 4 years and to like really put in that work. And I just kind of want to leave that aspect behind as well, and to like remind people that it's not always going to be about winning, and it's not always going to be about like the hard parts of everything. Like it's the friendships and like all the little things,
The bus
like
trips.
Yeah, the bus rides, like even if they're 7 hours long, like that's 7 extra hours that you get to spend with people that love what you're doing, love you for like who you are. Like I don't know, that's just something I kind of want to like leave behind, is just that like reminder to enjoy it and to like leave that impact no matter how big or small it is.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that's really, really exciting. And
Yeah.
I'm like kind
Yeah.
of emotional about
I know,
it. But
I know. I was, when I asked you the question, I was like, oh boy, are we
Yeah.
gonna get emotional?
Ooh, yeah.
Way to hold it together, Patty. Good job. Good job.
I'm getting better at it.
That's awesome. What would you say so far? Like, what's been the moment in your entire athletic career that you're most proud of, and why?
I don't know. I was kind of looking at that one earlier and thinking about it. I don't know. It's hard to like think back.
I mean, I think like this year so far, like the leadership that you have shown on the team has been something for you to be very, very proud of, because you've grown so much as a leader. And again, like, you know, the whole idea of this is Division III, right? And you think about all the opportunities that you have to grow as a young adult and experience different things on campus and in the classroom and within the team and all that. And I just think that there's just so much opportunity for holistic growth and overall growth, you know, and that's one of the things that I think, like when I look at you and I think, you know, what things you need to be proud of or you should be proud of, I think that overall growth and leadership is one of those things.
Thank you. Yeah, I have definitely noticed a difference, even just from like preseason to now. So not even like, obviously, yeah, every year growth is the goal, and I feel like I have succeeded in that, but like this past like 3 months, just I feel like I've kind of seen that difference, and I think that's been really like impactful for me, even like just in my own like situation and like my own like life. And I think that's been really cool. So I think that for sure has definitely been something I'm really proud of and hope to continue, especially like finishing off this season and then going into just my future in general, next season, everything after that. But yeah, that's definitely something. And then, I mean, WIAC tournament freshman year was kind of fun too.
Yeah,
so
that was kind of fun.
That one was exciting. But yeah, I don't know. I just think any time that I'm out there, like I think it's a moment to be proud of, like, or anyone too, like anytime I get to see like all my teammates out there, like it's just it's exciting and it's fun, and no matter what team or like sport or anything that I've been on in the past, like I feel like that's something, looking back, like that's what I remember. So I feel like that's what I'm most proud of. It's not like, oh, I went 3 for 4 this game, or like, oh, I hit 2 home runs. Like, it's nothing like that. Not that, I don't know if that's ever been a real stat for me, but just having those moments and knowing that that's something I can look back on is like something to be proud of.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like it's not easy to be a student athlete. It's not easy to be a 4-year student athlete, you know, and so just being a 4-year student athlete is something to be very proud of. And you know, like putting yourself out there, you know, putting the uniform on and playing a game and being judged by everyone that's watching every single day. Every single time you play, you're being judged, right? By all these people that have no idea the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into it. And yet they're sitting on the outside of the fence judging everything we do. So I think just putting on the uniform every day and giving everything you have is without a doubt. Like, you don't need statistics, you don't need awards. Just putting on the jersey every day and giving everything you have is something to be very proud of. Absolutely, absolutely. So here's a really a good question, I think, because as it relates to D3 and we talk about being a student athlete. So how do you feel like your participation in sports has helped you be a student, like in the classroom?
I think it's definitely made me more like disciplined with a lot of my academics, especially in college, like having to really like up my time management skills, because obviously like playing sports in high school and like just a high school schedule in general requires time management and like that aspect of it. But I think coming to college and like being on your own and having to kind of navigate that for yourself has really helped me in the classroom to understand like what I need to prioritize, what I need to like get done beforehand, just like stuff like that. And then obviously, shameless plug for the 168 plan. I live and die by that thing. It's full as, I love it. But just having that adds to the time management as well. And like, I know like after this, I can go home, do some homework, eat some dinner, and then nothing, because like I planned it out that way. So it just works out great. And I think also my competitiveness in sports kind of reflects in the classroom as well, because I'm a very academically driven person and I always have been. So that competitiveness of like wanting to outdo what I did in the past and like wanting to push myself to like understand things and be better than I was in the past, anything like that, especially with differing classes that I'm taking in college now too. So I think that kind of drive has helped me translate between sports and academics, and it kind of just like weaves its way through, which is, it's been cool to navigate that. But the biggest thing I think would be time management, especially in like college playing a sport.
Well, and especially when you're in a science education degree. Ugh, science, chemistry, that just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I can't do the science thing. I love science, but I wouldn't like studying it.
Yeah.
I like learning about science-based and science-backed things, but I wouldn't want to study it.
Yeah, that's something we actually talked about that on Monday in one of my classes, how chemistry is probably not going to be everybody's favorite class. So I'm going to have to really navigate that as like
a teacher. Yeah.
And
how do you get students excited about chemistry?
Yeah.
Like boil over the tubes or the what are they called?
The beakers?
The beakers. Boil over the beakers, you know, like be careful, don't use the Bunsen burner to light the classroom on fire, you know, but keep it a little bit, keep it safe, but yet challenge, you know, push the envelope.
And kind of going off of that too, like a lot of my classes have helped me to kind of become a better athlete almost. Like learning leadership skills in the classroom and on like a team, especially wanting to be a teacher in the future, like that's made such a big difference. And like I said earlier, just like the growth in my leadership in this past like few months or this year or whatever has kind of shown to me in my classes as well, because I feel like I'm a lot more open in like discussions and like my class or like the classes I'm in general, like communicating with people, like lab partners, anything like that, group projects, like, so I feel like it's really cool to see it kind of go like hand in hand. Like it's not just being an athlete has helped me be a better student, but being a better student has made me a better athlete. And so it just kind of goes back and forth, which I think is really exciting.
Yeah, yeah, that's self-assurance. You know, when you have the confidence in yourself to, like you said, interact with classmates, speak up, have more discussion rather than just sit there and just listen, right? You have something to contribute. And so you have something to contribute on the softball field. You also have something to contribute in your classes and in your interactions with other students and things like that. So to start to really lean on that self-confidence that you're developing is really cool. I love it. I love it. What's your best advice for future Blue Gold athletes?
Enjoy it and take your time with things, and don't like rush through a practice or hope something's going to be over soon or get angry about morning stuff. Like I'll be the first to say I struggle with complaining. I tend to be a complainer. I get things done and I do them and I work hard, but I tend to be a complainer. And I'm working on it. But I would say just enjoy it and like don't overthink things. Don't put yourself in a position where you're missing out on things that you should be enjoying. And then in athletics, as well as just like in life, I feel like here, like take a risk, do something fun for yourself. Like don't just focus on your sport. Not that you need to focus on it, but you have 4 years to make a difference and do it in your sport, but also do it in like your own life, and just take every moment. My dad actually said this, make every moment a memory.
Yes,
so
yes,
I think
exactly.
that's a good one.
I think, you know, I was just having this conversation this morning at practice, because I said, when you put it in terms of you have 4 years to play, it seems like a long time. But if you break it down and say, I have 48 months, that makes it seem a lot shorter. When you just say, nope, I don't have 4 years, I have 48 months. Like that's gonna go by in a hurry.
Yeah.
So to your point of just be in the moment, be where your feet are, enjoy it, you know, like we get to do this. We don't have to do this.
Yeah. That's been a huge like mindset flip.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah.